Hello and welcome to Weekend Review on Trust TV. This is where we take a look at some of the happenings during the week. And in case you missed it, this is an opportunity to catch up. Welcome again. My name is Martia Umar. We'll take you around some of the biggest stories like the Daily Trust Dialogue and, of course, some of the events that occurred during the week. But let's start with this one in Abuja, where residents in Nyanya Orosa axis appealed to the FCT administration to address issues that led to tricycle operators in the area to embark on strike. KEKE riders, also known as tricycle riders, are on strike due to alleged exorbitant levies charged by revenue agents in the area. The report.
Residents along Orozo-Nyanya axis in the Federal Capital Territory are displeased as the strike embarked upon by KEKE riders in the community has made movement along the area very difficult. A cross-section of residents that spoke to Trust TV News said the strike has made them to resume work late, while fares have increased, and appealed to government to find a lasting solution to the issue.
According to what I heard just now, they said that KEKE people are on strike based on levy and taxes that the government or maybe their NAPTEP or what people has added to them, and I think that maybe the rate is kind of high and with the fuel issues together.
So the drivers, they decide to do a strike because of some problems that happen in this from Nyanya to Karshi axis. One is garage. Two, about the police arresting. The arresting is too much, and the money that they are collecting for bail is too much. KEKE, they are the one that cause hold up, and they know park well. And you will see some people, they come and park their cars by the roadside. If you come and join in that car and park, they will arrest you. And if they arrest you, they will not give bail in time. And if you go for bail, they will collect more money from you, at least 5,000, 3,000. And they are wasting our time there.
Some of the drivers also decreed the alleged unwarranted arrest by law enforcement agents, which make them spend a lot on bail.
There's no KEKE, there's no even vehicle to enter. So I just came, when I came to that, I just saw them gathering. Then I knew that there was something. But even then, even though there's a lot of levy, they find this place so convenient for them. They are creating problems here. Let them go to Nyanya and meet the officials. The people that levy them, they are in Nyanya. No, the people that are not here. Then why are they not disturbing the peace of the people staying here? It's wrong.
Residents said the strike by the KEKE riders in the area has affected the economy of the area and also called on the government to come to their aid.
During the week, Nigeria joined the rest of the world to commemorate the International Day of Education. As Nigeria commemorated this year's International Day of Education, the need to tackle the rising number of out-of-school children is again stressed as it threatens development in the nation. According to experts and development partners, this can be mitigated by implementing policies that improves livelihood of families, that provide better access to quality education, collaboration with non-state actors, and increase budgetary allocations to the education sector. Aisha Saliu filed in this report.
Nigeria, according to statistics, holds the third highest number of out-of-school children among primary school, adolescents, and young people in secondary schools. The number of those deprived of education is 19.7 million, according to the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization 2020 model estimates. Stakeholders say investing in people is a way of prioritizing education as it remains a critical tool for human capital development and the economic growth of the country.
Non-state actors like us, we've been able to help more than 5,000 children through different initiatives, because we believe that quality education is not only about academics, as people broadcast it out there, but it's also a question of being able to find what the talent of the child is and make them future-ready and productive citizens of the world.
We identified 20 beneficiaries, which are out-of-school children within the community. right? And we decided to enroll them into school. So we came here today. We met with the parents of the beneficiaries and we met the beneficiaries as well. We conducted an enrollment assessment for them to enable us to identify the class in which these children fit into, that is within primary 1 to 6, and we did that successfully. We also distributed learning materials to them, and we met with the head teacher and paid their registration and tuition fees as well.
Despite programs and strategies deployed by the federal government to address the menace of out-of-school children, the number has continued to rise.
Initiatives like the Open Schooling Initiative by UBEC, the Girl Child Education Initiative, Agile program in many states across the country funded by the World Bank, so also supported by state governments. But the problem is we want the government to also fund more and fund better, because the current budget speaks to only about 8% of Nigeria's budget, and we are supposed to have at least 15 to 20% marked for education.
To reverse the trend and spur accelerated development, the 2023 International Day of Education urges governments, the global community and important stakeholders to stick to their pledges to prioritize investment in education and educational transformation. Adequate funding and implementation of policies should be deployed to ensure learning activities are tailored to students' unique abilities and needs at all levels. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And away from Kano State, police in Adamawa arrest 208 suspected criminals with 7 AK-47 rifles and locally fabricated guns, among other dangerous weapons. The command disclosed that out of the numbers arrested in connection with armed robbery, kidnapping, rape, culpable homicide, 108 have been charged to court. Silas Lawan, during the week, filed in this report.
According to the command, AK-47 rifles, locally made pistol, live ammunition, live cartridges, then gun, pump action, SMG gun, motor vehicle, tricycle, motorcycle, military camouflage uniform, and handbag, among other exhibits, were recovered from the suspect. Parading the suspect at the police headquarters, the Adamawa State Commissioner of Police, Sekiru Akonde, gives an overview of the arrest.
We want to plead. When things are sweet, when you are doing well, that is when you should expect little challenges. And these little challenges, when they come, if you don't deal with it decisively, it gives the perpetrators a larger heart to want to do more. So please, like we always say, when you see something, please say something. You've been doing it. Don't let us relax on our oars. Let us continue to work as a team until we get to the El Dorado of our dream.
According to him, the command's operatives carried out tactical and intelligence-driven patrols, raiding criminals' hideouts, rescue operations, stop and search operations, community policing engagement of stakeholders, among others.
2023 election is by the corner. So far, so good. Our politicians have been playing by the rules. Now that we are getting close, I am pleading to them. They should know that before election, there is Adamawa State. During the election, there is Adamawa State. After the election, there will still be an Adamawa State. In everything we do, let us do it with decorum. Let us do it within the ambits of the law. We, as an organization, we are going to give level playing grounds to everybody.
He appreciated the government and people of the state for the continuous support they have been given to the command, assuring that all the suspects will be diligently prosecuted on completion of investigation. From Yola, Silas Lawan, Trust TV News.
And during the week, we also have the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, saying that disruptions at the nation's airport will no longer be condoned, as aviation is an essential service. And the minister spoke during the week to newsmen at the State House Abuja after the weekly meeting of the Federal Executive Council, apologizing to Nigerians for flight disruptions on Monday. And he said that government would, going forward, strictly apply the law of the land concerning strike. Kendia Modu has more details.
A 14-hour strike on Monday affected domestic and international airline operations serviced by the Nigerian Aviation Handling Company, NACO. Airlines have claimed they lost millions of naira due to flight cancellations as long as the strike lasted. A clearly displeased Minister of Aviation is laying down the line and insisting situations like this will no longer be tolerated, as strikes and riots around the nation's airports are prohibited by the laws of the land.
And now that we have the act in place, assented by Mr. President, passed by National Assembly, we will deal with it according to the law. We will ensure that no essential service is being disrupted by anybody, no matter how aggrieved. There are other channels of channeling issues when they arise, but they are not permitted to hold strike because aviation is an essential service.
The hard stance is coming on a day the minister has obtained approval from the cabinet for the rehabilitation and reconstruction of the Hadejia airstrip at the cost of 7.4 billion naira. Meanwhile, the council approved a national Duct 1 policy, which aims to institutionalize provisions for ducts during construction in Nigeria at federal, state, and even local government levels.
So by implication, during road construction, bridges, rail lines, seaports, stadium, and all other important buildings, we should make provision of ducts where at least any wire or any gadget for electricity or telecommunications or any service that is required will make use of that facility and lay their cables.
The federal government has also approved the National Child Online Protection Policy and Strategy.
We leverage on our existing laws to come up with the policy, like Cybercrime Act 2015. There is a provision of protecting all citizens, and children are part and parcel of our citizens. Also, we have Child Rights Act 2003.
The policy also makes provision for the protection of online content and other legislations. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amudu, Trust TV News.
And you are watching Week in Review on Trust TV. More stories after this break. Just stay with us.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
You're welcome back and thank you for staying with us. You're still watching Week in Review on Trust TV. And still in the news, let's take a look at the issue surrounding the 31st of January deadline of the new Naira notes. Now, the House of Representatives ad hoc committees constituted during Tuesday's plenary by Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila on the need to review the 31st January 2023 deadline to phase out old currency has rescheduled its meeting with the Central Bank of Nigeria and commercial banks. The meeting was earlier scheduled for Wednesday, announcing the postponement of the meeting to Thursday And Friday, the committee chairman Al-Hassan Ado Dogwa said that the shift became imperative following the late receipt of the early invitation by the Central Bank of Nigeria. He said the ad hoc committee is to have separate meetings with both the CBN officials and bank chiefs.
Based on the communication I just received from the Central Bank, is that our letter of invitation got to the bank very, very late yesterday. You can all agree with me that the resolution was taken at the end of our sitting yesterday, the 24th of January, 2023. And before we could finish necessary procedures, the letters were signed in to the Central Bank late. So the liaison officer of the bank spoke to us this evening that they were not able to really act on the letter to allow for their engagement today. And on this note, I would like to convey to members of the committee and of course to the members of the public and the press that are here with us, that we have considered to allow the central bank officials to come up tomorrow by 1 p.m. tomorrow by 1 p.m. so that we will engage them, and immediately after our engagement with the officials of the central bank, we will engage the bank operators. This is the decision of the committee.
And taking a look at the issues again in Katsina, residents of Katsina State expressed anger against the Naira redesign policy during when the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, visited the state. The residents staged protests at Kofar Kwaya and Yahya Madaki Way in Katsina, saying that the economic policy of the government is not working. They lamented the current hardship being experienced by residents to President Muhammadu Buhari's leadership style, and the protesters burned a lot of tires, threw stones and other items bowing presidential convoy. The protesters mentioned the high cost of living occasioned by redesigned new Naira notes, fuel scarcity, inflation and insecurity as a result of bad leadership of the Buhari-led federal government. Barely 3 days to the expiration of the deadline set by the Central Bank of Nigeria for old Naira notes phase out, commercial banks in Abuja are running short of new currency. I was at some of the ATM or money dispensation points in Abuja, and they have little or no cash to dispense to their customers. Take a look.
As the January 31st deadline draws near, Abuja residents, including business owners, are becoming increasingly reluctant to accept the old Naira notes, leaving many with no option but to go in search of the new Naira notes. The residents who have reasons to seek the new notes in banks and ATMs say the search is difficult before the January 31st deadline.
Where is this in the world? Which offense did we committed?
I left Zuba since 4 a.m. this morning because the information came yesterday that it's going to happen. So I decided to leave home as early as possible this morning. I first went to Gariki. I didn't see, even at the Zenith Bank there. Try all the possible bets at that Gariki. No one of them were dispensing.
The money issue is very annoying. Like serious, as I am like this, I'm having issue that I need to solve since last week. I could not be able to solve it.
Like me now, since morning, the anger in me is too much. It's too much. I've been working around. I don't even get even 1 naira now to transport go back home. I don't get that. I don't get anyone here now as I'm talking to you. And I don't know whether before I go reach the ATM, maybe they will say unable to dispense cash. So that is one of the problems we are facing again. No one is dispensing along this what is this street? This tree. No native is dispensing. This is selling bank.
When getting money from the ATM has been frustrating. You can see the crowd of people here, and we are not finding it very easy. Like me, I think I came the first time. I have to go back because of the crowd. The crowd actually scared me, so I have to go and come back. The same crowd I was trying to avoid, I still meet the same crowd. So it has not been easy for every one of us here. If the people in authority can actually shift the date for the masses, it will be a nice idea. You can see now most people have stopped collecting the old money.
The struggle for the new Naira notes in different ATM points in Abuja and environs is so real, as a lot of Nigerians are not happy about the development in the cash dispensation points. Now the question on everybody's lips is, will the January 31st deadline be a reality, as they have gone through a lot of struggles in order to meet up with exchanging old Naira notes with the new ones? Mardia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And now to one of the biggest stories that occurred during the week was the 20th Daily Trust Dialogue, and this was to examine the quality of blueprints of presidential candidates seeking electoral mandates, and observed there is no clear roadmap on how to actualize the agenda. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that there's a consensus amongst participants for a collective demand for elections to hold, despite the reservation, just as the nation was tasked to use the polls and solidify its democratic leadership in Africa.
The 20th Daily Trust Dialogue is themed interrogating the 2023 presidential agenda. Setting the tone of discussion, Chairman, Board of Directors, Media Trust Limited, Malam Kabir Yusuf, expressed worry over discordant tunes as the nation goes to the poll next month, asking stakeholders to give Nigeria a chance.
Indeed, if all the citizens of this country ignore the provocations, Nigeria could be the ultimate winner at the polls. So it is obviously in our collective interest to give this poor yet rich country another chance to rise from the ashes.
Reiterating the commitment of the United States to the elections in Nigeria, U.S. Ambassador tasked the nation to solidify its democratic leadership in Africa. Just as she said, U.S. visa ban target those working to undermine the election.
Individuals who undercut or undermine the democratic process in any way, including through intimidation and violence, may be found ineligible for visas to travel to the United States. We have taken steps in the past to impose U.S. visa restrictions against those complicit in undermining the electoral process, and you may have seen that Secretary Blinken announced just yesterday that we have identified specific individuals for such past actions.
Truly free, fair, and credible elections, that is the only way from which will emerge at all levels of government, men and women, ready to serve the nation with dedication, sincerity, honesty, and integrity.
Interrogating the agenda of the frontline presidential candidates, the panelists raised questions on the structures and actions plan of the flag bearers to execute their promises in the face of existing factors undermining the actual growth and development of the nation.
It's nice for the political class to scare us as much as it has been done today, with the likelihood of everything going wrong within the period of an election. It's the responsibility of every government in power to ensure at this moment that the country is in a state in which we can actually have an election.
There is no secret in the conduct of public affairs in Nigeria. Most of us know what's happening. We know those who are stealing. We know how far the stealing goes. We may not know all.
Nigerians will go to the polls on the 25th of next month to elect a new president and members of the National Assembly. But the political atmosphere is consistently becoming uncertain due to comments by political actors and the frightening insecurity in some parts of the country, even as the electoral umpire and security agencies remain positive about the conduct of the elections. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And it's few weeks to the national elections. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says all modalities for smooth conduct of the elections have been put in place. Chairman of the Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, said this in Abuja during a meeting with resident electoral commissioners for the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. Noel Sampson was there and he filed in this report.
The INEC chairman highlighted the level of the Commission's preparedness for the elections. He stated that all arrangements are made to make sure the country witness free, fair and credible elections.
I am glad to report that movement of materials for the election to various locations nationwide is being concluded. The training of officials will commence shortly. Ongoing consultations with stakeholders will be intensified. Airlifting and delivery of sensitive materials to states of the Federation has gone far. Accreditation of national and international observers and the media is being finalized. Critical service providers in the area of transportation.
Yakubu highlights some of the challenges the Commission is facing in the distribution of permanent voters' cards, but reassured Nigerians that additional measures will be taken to make sure everyone collects his or her PVCs.
The Commission is encouraged by the determination of registered voters nationwide to collect their PVCs and the actual level of collection so far. For instance, in Lagos State, which has the highest number of registered voters in the country, the Commission delivered 940,200 PVCs from the recent voter registration exercise from June 2021 to July 2022 for both new registrants and request for transfer and replacement of cards. As at yesterday, Thursday, 26 January 2023, 839,720 PVCs have been collected, representing 89.3% of the total figure of the new cards. This meeting with REX will consider reports from other states of the Federation, and the Commission will not hesitate to consider additional measures to ensure that all citizens have ample opportunity to collect their PVCs ahead of the general election. We wish to assure Nigerians that the Commission will always be responsive to the needs of the electorate.
The Commission has been engaging critical stakeholders to fine-tune ways of conducting credible elections. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And with that, we have come to the end of Week in Review for this week. For more, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to connect with us on all our social media platforms. I am Mardia Umar. Thank you for watching. Do stay tuned.